What is up, everybody? Welcome into Shout, a Buffalo football podcast. We are live here at Wingnuts, the home of Shout, 1402 Millersport Hwy, right here in Amherst, New York, just across the street from the University of Buffalo. And Ryan, we are finally here. It has been 9 months of off-season football talk, and finally we're going to get to talk about a game starting tomorrow, Bills versus Ravens. I don't think we could start this thing off with any bigger of a matchup.
Yeah, this is the main event of the weekend. Obviously, it placed it on Sunday Night Football, a rematch of the divisional round. And like you said, thank goodness football is back.
We're here at Wingnuts. I was walking table to table, and people are having all these different flavors of wings. And we have a little bit of a custom. We usually don't eat until after the show. And if you want to talk about torture, walk into Wingnuts, walk around this place for a few minutes, and try not to eat any wings. It's absolutely hard. Okay, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we parked in the back, you could already smell the Wingnuts, the sauces, the food. Unbelievable. Always great service, always great food and drinks here.
All right, so let me break it down for you. These preview shows, it's been 9 months since we've done them. We have an outline here for you, an order of operations. We're going to get into our top storylines here in a minute. There's a lot to break down. The Bills are injured in a couple of spots. So are the Ravens. We're going to get into the details of all that. A lot of questions today on the insider text line about the Bills not elevating a cornerback. What is the plan opposite Christian Benford against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? We'll have you covered. We'll talk about a couple of these storylines. We'll take some fan questions. So everybody in the house here, if you want to come up, bring your hot takes, your hot season takes, or your Ravens takes, and we'll get into it over the course of the show.
Yeah, cannot wait to start. Let's get into it.
So the Bills don't elevate any cornerbacks. They bring up Matthew Prater off of the practice squad, who's going to be the kicker for Tyler Bass, who's going to be out at least 4 weeks. They bring up Kendrick Green as well, the interior offensive lineman. Cedric Van Pran Granger has not been practicing, or he's been practicing, but he didn't really do much all summer. So I think he's going to be in a backup role. Who they don't elevate is a cornerback, and Tre'Davious White is doubtful. Maxwell Hairston is out for the first 4 games. So the other options, Jamarcus Ingram and rookie Dorian Strong. And I think the reason they didn't bring up Dane Jackson is because those two guys beat him out in the summer. What they did to earn the roster spot is also going to earn them the opportunity tomorrow against the Ravens. The worry is what happens if it's not going well. If Dorian Strong struggles, if he's out there, you could go to Jamarcus Ingram. If he's struggling, what do you do next? The Bills might have to really get into their depth chart, maybe go to Cam Lewis if things are really getting off the rails.
Right. And in the scenario you laid out, I don't know if Dane Jackson would be doing any better if there were struggles on the outside with the 2 cornerbacks that beat him out. It was a very rough summer for Dane Jackson. That being said, I think the lack of an elevation was due to necessity. You needed to bring up a kicker with Tyler Bass on the IR. I think you needed to bring up Kendrick Green with Cedric Van Pran Granger maybe not being ready to take some snaps despite not being put on the PUP list at the start of the year and being, signed or part of this 53-man roster. So you needed the extra lineman, you needed the kicker, I should say. So there was just no spot for Dane Jackson in this scenario.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. The Prater elevation is interesting to me because the Bills brought in 3 kickers last week, worked them out, put them through a tryout. Matthew Prater was not one of those kickers. So they went in a completely different direction. He's a veteran player. He's 41 years old. He's coming off of a serious knee injury to his placing leg. What are your expectations for him? Because if this is a close game, these are 2 teams that played a 27-25 game just 9 months ago in the playoffs. What are your expectations for Prater tomorrow if he's needed in a big-time spot?
I was talking with a few Bills fans this week about this, and I don't think much changes because, let's be honest, I think a lot of Bills fans have been holding their breath the last few years with Tyler Bass kicking the ball. You don't know what you're going to get. He can deliver a 61-yard game winner against Miami, and then other times he can miss a 20-some-yard field goal in the preseason like he did this year. So it's a mixed bag with Prater coming off of the injury. He was 6 for 6 last year. Before that, missed some serious time, but he has over 400 made field goals. This is not like you're bringing someone in that lacks experience in big moments. So I don't think there's much of a change there.
We're going to get more into Dorian Strong in a minute here because I want to talk about the story that I wrote about him this week and the time I spent talking about him inside the Bills building. But before we do, let's bring out the OGs of this thing. Everybody in the house, give it up for Ed and Alicia, the creators of Wingnuts. Thank you so much for having us in your house once
Thank you.
again. Shouts, favorite time of the month is coming to Wingnuts for our live show. So we usually do, we have a tradition here. We like to do story time with Ed and Alicia. What do you got for us today?
Well, first of all, hello, Wingnuts. The first thing I'd like to do is thank God for what Wingnuts has become. And okay, so here's our story. About a month ago, right in this building, an old customer of ours, a friend of ours, brought his granddaughter in, a 5-year-old little girl. They called her Princess Ava, and she loves Wingnuts. And they ate, they had a great time, and they came to Alicia and I to say goodbye. And I asked the little girl, I said, do you really want to be a true Wingnut? And she said yes. So I bent down so I was eye to eye with her, and I took off my necklace and put it around her neck and said, now you're a real Wingnut. And you never saw a little girl's eyes light up so much. She walked out of here with a smile from ear to ear. She said she'd wear it when she came back. And it was really quite a touching moment. Her grandfather, which is our friend, was just beside himself. So
it's funny you bring that up because I remember when we did one of our first shows. Can you believe it? I didn't do the actual math, but I think we're in our 3rd season doing these live shows at Wingnuts. Yeah. And I think back to some of the early shows, and my son and my daughter, I think my daughter was 2 or 3 at the time, and she got one of the necklaces, and I could not get it off of her all week long. She was wearing it around the house. She was going up and playing with it. I think the dog got it at one point, which wasn't ideal, but they are an awesome little touch that you guys give here.
They are, and the kids love them. So, yeah, that was what happened. I thought it was a very cool, touching moment, and I wanted to share it with everybody.
Awesome. All right, so it's game time tomorrow. Bills, Ravens. Prediction time first on the season. You saw the Bills go to the AFC title game last year. You predicted 14 wins. You came up 1 short.
Yep.
What's your prediction for this season?
Well, I still want to see 14 wins. And the reason for that is because no Bills team has ever won 14 in one season. So that's my goal. If they can do more, yay. But I also want to see them go to the Super Bowl and, above all, just destroy Kansas City.
So you enjoyed last night?
Oh, yeah. I watched the whole thing. I couldn't stop watching it. Right till it said 0 on the clock.
Alicia, what are you most excited about the Bills season this season?
It's hard to say. All the new players are looking good. And Josh, I don't know. I'd like to see him play so we can know if he's looking good or not. But I think that what they've got for the team looks like they've got quite a group that there's enough talent there that they can spread out throwing the ball. They can spread out all the positions if they're healthy enough.
So final prediction, 14 wins?
14
wins for the Bills. What do you think?
All right. Thank you, Wingnuts.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, let's get Ryan back in here. We got a lot to get into with this matchup, and I want to go to, Alicia brought up Josh Allen there, and I want to go there next because I brought up his stats from last season. And in the playoff game, from a touchdown perspective, he was unstoppable, especially in the red zone, right? Those 2 rushing touchdowns, the Bills don't win without him. But as a passer, 160 yards passing in the regular season game and then 129 in the postseason game. Do you see that changing tomorrow in terms of how effective he's able to be in the passing game against the Ravens defense that hasn't changed a lot and is adding Jair Alexander, rookie Malachi Starks at the safety position? Might be a better defense. Do you expect Josh Allen to be more productive in the passing game?
Historically, I can't sit here and say that I expect that because the Ravens have done a great job against him as a passer. And, you mentioned it. They still have a great defense, a great front. They can get pressure on him. He's going to have to use his legs. The one thing I'll say is you mentioned one of the names. If there's a player I'm going to pick on if I'm Josh Allen tomorrow, it's Jair Alexander, which that sounds a little bit funny because of his track record as a top-tier cornerback. But before he started practicing this week, Matt, he hadn't practiced since August 9th. So there's going to be some rust there. If there's a guy that I'm targeting, if I'm Josh Allen, I'm throwing right at Jair Alexander.
The other piece of this for me is I look at Joe Brady, and I think he should be challenged to super creative in this game with how he calls it. I'm surprised looking back at both of these games against the Ravens last year, no single player had more than 7 targets in either of the games. And that's by design, right? The whole mantra of this offense is everybody eats. But in these games, you need your best players to maybe eat a little bit more. And I'm looking at Dalton Kincaid. I'm looking at Keon Coleman in this game. The Bills are going to be able to get a little creative because they've been so dependent on the jumbo package, and they probably likely will be again in their run game. I know that they're high on Jackson Hawes. I expect to see Alec Anderson in some type of package. But if they can get one of these guys going in the passing game, whether it be Keon, who's been dealing with the groin, he basically said he's good for all intents and purposes when we got a chance to catch up with him on Friday. So I don't expect him to be held up at all. One of these guys has to maybe take over in this game, and maybe a matchup against a Jair Alexander is one that you could take advantage of.
Yeah, 100%. And who that ends up being, we'll see. I think Joshua Palmer is going to be in for receiving quite a few targets. And if you can find someone that is getting open consistently, finding the soft spots in the defense or just kind of winning their one-on-one matchups, you're going to go to them. But like you said, this offense is by design. You're not going to force the ball to anybody. Josh Allen's not going to do that either. But someone absolutely needs to step up in this matchup. As for the personnel packages, we heard from Sean McDermott himself in the preseason. There was zero game planning in those 3 games. So the Bills didn't want you to see anything in terms of what they're going to roll out. I think there's going to be some jumbo. There could be some 13 personnel. You heard them raving about how Hawes was the best blocking tight end that they had ever kind of tracked throughout college in terms of scouting. So why not get him out there in a very physical matchup right out of the gate?
I think second and third level matchups for Dalton Kincaid are something I want to see more of, especially if the Ravens decide to play some man in this game. They can mix it up. They might play man. They might play some zone. They might try to confuse Josh Allen in this game. I also think by design, when you're attacking this Baltimore team, you want to control the ball and you want to limit turnovers. Even last year in the regular season game, both teams had 1 turnover in that game. Obviously, it got away from things because the defense couldn't really come up with any stops. But the Bills are super healthy. I'm looking at Joey Bosa healthy in week 1 to really make a statement in this game. And, I still think on the outside, there's going to be some winnable matchups. Ronnie Staley, he's a good player, but he's not getting any younger. I think on the exterior of their offensive line is where the Bills might be able to make some plays, whether it's Joey Bosa, Greg Rousseau. I'm also looking for A.J. Epinesa. He plays well in primetime. He isn't dealing with any injuries. He could be my under-the-radar player to watch, to be somebody that comes in and makes a play in this game, whether it be like a pass breakup, a sack, a big tackle loss, a forced fumble. You need one of those guys on this new-look defensive line to have an impact.
Yeah, and, you mentioned the turnover battle first and foremost. If anyone remembers that game from last season, the Bills were actually kind of mounting a little bit of a comeback in that regular season game, and then they got a little bit too cute with the play calling. Allen gets hit by Van Noy, they fumble, and then the game gets away from them at that point. I think the Bills know they can't go in, they can't try any kind of trick plays. They have to go straight up against this team, trying to run the ball physically. Let Josh Allen just throw the ball in terms of the passing. Don't do anything that's too cute. As for the pass rush, Matt, I'm really excited about what Bosa brings and what they have there this season. But, man, if you try to get after Jackson and you miss and he breaks contain, he can take off with those legs, and that could make for a long evening, I should say, for the Bills.
The one piece that the Bills do have in this matchup coming up on Sunday that they didn't in the regular season game when Baltimore went off is Matt Milano. And you saw how effective he was in the playoff game, whether it be in that spy package where he kind of is just responsible for hanging with Lamar, whether he decides to pass or run with it. How important do you think that second level is defensively to curtailing what Baltimore wants to do? And I'm talking about really being effective behind that defensive line in the run game, tackling, wrapping up well. How much do you think the Bills will go to the 3 linebacker look, which they played quite a bit of, but even Bobby Babich said this week, it's really hard to take Taron Johnson off the field.
Right, and this matchup is so intriguing to me, Matt, because, Isaiah likely is not playing, but Pat Ricard is not playing for the Ravens, and, I think the linebackers are going to be very thankful for that because it's going to help them a little bit in terms of getting home to Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's coming into this game fresh. That's a scary thought, but the loss of Pat Ricard is going to be huge for the Ravens in terms of how they attack the Bills.
We're here at Wingnuts, 1402 Millersport Highway. It is absolutely bumping in here. The pizza and wings are flying around on trays, which again is making this a challenge. But at the same time, this is such a grind of a season, right, Ryan? I mean, there's so many games, so many big moments. But what I like the most about how the Bills' schedule is set up, and we talked about this a couple months ago when the schedule came out, is how much the big games are spread out on the schedule. So you have Baltimore here in opening weekend. You don't play another real powerhouse team until the Chiefs after the bye.
Right. This is nice for them. No matter what happens tomorrow night, they have a few games where they can kind of build up the win totals and try to create that separation already in the AFC East.
All right, Dorian Strong. Let's get into the Bills' starting cornerback situation opposite Christian Benford. I think early in the week, everybody was a little bit worried about Benford showing up with the groin injury. That's something that can, linger a little bit. It looks like he's going to be all systems go and be able to play on Sunday. Opposite him, I have been really taken aback about how much faith and confidence there is in Dorian Strong inside the Bills building. I've been, very critical of the rookie throughout training camp. I thought early on he left a lot to be desired. I mean, he was third-team reps against guys that weren't going to be on an NFL roster, and I thought at times this summer he really struggled. What I think you get excited about is the growth that you've seen over the last couple of weeks and the playmaking in practice. I mean, 3 straight days where he's had an interception against the Bills in practice. That's no small accomplishment for a rookie player. I think he's in a spot where they believe in him, but he also believes in himself. He's a 5-year starter at Virginia Tech. He's made a lot of plays at the college level. He's got a history of making plays in a zone scheme, willing physical tackler. What are your expectations for him on Sunday?
Confidence is one hell of a drug. That's the saying, right? And 3 interceptions this week. He's going to go in feeling pretty good in this matchup. He seemed pretty laid back when you guys talked to him about the game. But I do worry about if one thing goes wrong, how does that affect his confidence? Can he just brush it off and get back up there for the next snap and feel good about it? It's such a tough welcome to the NFL matchup for him. I know that the Ravens don't necessarily have the greatest wide receivers in the league, but they have a superstar quarterback, a great running back. He's going to have to be on his P's and Q's when it comes to tackling and coverage, and that's a lot to ask out of a day 3 pick.
All right, let's get into maybe a couple of players to watch, because I think for me offensively, and this is coming off of the AFC title game where I thought if we weren't talking about Josh Allen, who's the best and most important player on the field for the Bills, it's James Cook in this game. Coming off of the new extension, he is paid, he is happy, and I think this is a game where you can really put an exclamation point on that contract and why it was so important for the Bills to lock you up long term. This is a game where he needs to be on the field a little bit more. He needs to be trusted on third down to be a blocker as well, but he's also got to be a presence in the passing game, and that's one of the areas that I think James Cook has room to grow this season. They love Ty Johnson on third down, and rightfully so. He's a good player. But this is a big game against a tough defense. You need your best player and your highest play player on offense, not named Josh Allen, to make big plays.
Right, and the way that the Ravens can generate pressure, having him as that drop-off safety valve, knowing what he can do with the ball in his hands after catching it, he absolutely needs to have a monster game for this offense as a runner and receiver. I'm going to flip it over to the other side. This needs to be a big Cole Bishop game for this defense. There's been a lot of talk about him this summer, the inability to be on the field, missed time. You rewind, though, to the AFC Championship game. He was one of their best defenders on the field. He needs to come in, play at that same level, use his athleticism in the matchup, be able to communicate on the back end, especially with possibly a rookie starting opposite Christian Benford, and then in the run support, be up there and make those plays.
I think it's funny. If you look at this Bills roster right now, Cole Bishop is set up, I think, more than any player to flip the script on the narrative that is out there about him right now. Right now, I think a lot of Bills fans are concerned that he's going to be a liability on game day. And I got to tell you, I don't necessarily sense that from him. I don't know if he needed those 2 preseason games to get his confidence level to kind of pop up a little bit. But I thought throughout the week, he felt like when he was on the field, at least, unflappable to a degree. He's going to be asked to play a really important role. Don't forget, in that AFC title game, he didn't have Taylor Rapp opposite him on the back end. That's going to be a really important piece for them. There's continuity back there outside of the Dorian Strong start, and they didn't have Christian Benford for most of the AFC title game either. I think in the secondary, I'm excited to see what this looks like against a receiving core that's good for the Ravens, but I don't think that it's scaring you.
Right. And listen, I don't want to overplay this, but they've had this past week in the preparation with Jordan Poyer to kind of go over film study to help Cole Bishop, to help that young secondary in some areas. I think that's huge. I know he wasn't here last season, but he's played in some big matchups for the Bills against the Ravens, the Chiefs, you name it. Having him out there to kind of analyze things from the X's and O's could also benefit Cole Bishop.
Over 1,000 people watching across all platforms right now. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We really appreciate it. Let's get back to the offensive side, and we're going to bring some folks up here. If you want to jump on the show in a minute, there'll be the final segment where we get some hot takes, some predictions, anything that you want to talk about with the Bills. On the offensive side, I want to talk a little bit more about Dalton Kincaid. For this season, I mean, for a guy that's going to be extension eligible after the year, like, he has a chance to make himself a lot of money in 2025. And it starts in this game. How do you see the Bills deploying him? How many targets do you think that he'll get in this game? And how does he match up against this team? Because I think in a lot of ways, he should have some favorable matchup depending on who he gets lined up against.
Yeah, I want to see him in the intermediate part of the field, Matt. I think that he can win some of those matchups with his athleticism. And it's been funny. You know, Josh Allen has said this on a few different podcast interviews where he has let down Dalton Kincaid last year. There were a few touchdowns where he didn't put the ball in the right spot, or he was off of the mark, whatever the case may be. So Kincaid is getting open. He was dealing with an injury last year. He's healthy now. You're going to want to see him get deployed and get some consistent targets. The problem is, what is that number when you have so many other mouths to feed? And we have seen that the Bills don't deviate from that plan.
Who do you think has more pressure on them in this game? And I'll give my answer after you. Joe Brady or Bobby Babich?
I think it's easily Bobby Babich. I think that the results spoke for themselves last season with this Bills offense. And even if they have a clunker in week one, you're talking about an offense that was moving the ball with ease with some parts that weren't necessarily above average. Babich, there's so many questions about, can this defense force stops when it matters in the postseason? And now in a big-time week one matchup, can he create and scheme enough to stop Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and company?
I liked what I saw from Bobby when we talked to him a couple days ago. I thought that he seemed pretty loose. He seemed pretty confident in this group. When he was asked about Matt Milano, he was like, stop. Don't ask me any questions about Matt Milano. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want him getting hurt. It's great that he's out there, but they need him to be out there. And I think that for me, if we're talking about players to watch, Matt Milano is the most important one. And I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of pressure on Bobby Babich. I think there's also a ticking clock in the back of the mind of Sean McDermott when it comes to Bobby Babich. When he promoted Ken Dorsey a couple of years ago, I think a lot of people thought he had a lot of, rope to kind of make some mistakes, have some tough moments. And he was going through it at times that second season. And once they got midway through the season, they pulled the cord. Bobby Babich has been with Sean McDermott on this coaching staff since 2017. But if this defense is the group that is not holding up its end of the bargain with a number 2 offense, number 1, number 3 offense, I wouldn't be surprised if you get halfway through the year and Bobby Babich, in terms of like the hot seat, it could get really warm.
Absolutely. And listen, Sean McDermott has a ton of experience calling defense, obviously. So I don't think you would necessarily can Babich if things went awry, but you could see Sean McDermott take over play calling duties. Absolutely.
All right. We got a lot of people lining up here to get on. Let's bring up AJ first. Come on up here, AJ. Give it up for the man that makes all the wings, hires and trains all the people that makes the wings. What's up, buddy? Come on in. How you doing?
Gentlemen, I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you.
Dude, I walked in here tonight and I shook hands with AJ and we were talking for a minute. Dude was shaking. I thought you were going to go out there and play linebacker, dude. You're pumped up.
The Ravens are staying next door, baby. I'm ready to hit something.
All right, so what do you think is the key to the game, and what is your level of nervousness about this matchup? Because I've felt a sense of nerves amongst Bills Mafia this week.
I think it's a tough game. I have big hopes for Keon Coleman. I think he's our X factor. I think if he has a good game, I think the Bills have a good shot. But if we can't stop Derrick Henry, we can't stop the offense, we don't have a chance.
What do you think about stopping Derrick Henry? He went off last year in this game. I want to get Ryan first, and I'll have you chime in on this. The Bills did a good job against the run in the playoff game. Can they replicate that with what they got going on right now.
I don't know if they can, because I feel like they sold out to stop the run in the playoff game because they felt enough confidence in the back end of that defense. You go into this game with an unknown at one cornerback spot, and I'm not sure the Bills can follow that blueprint.
I think you play more linebackers. I think you get bigger up front and you play, 4-3, have 4 linebackers on the field, and that's the only way to stop Derrick Henry. You can't stop him with a nickel back.
I also think that Dorian Williams is kind of tailor-made for this kind of matchup in that role as the third linebacker. Have him fly around, have him hit everything that moves. And I think with Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard out there, you're talking about a really good group at that second level.
Phenomenal, and I don't know why we hadn't done it sooner. We got some really good athletes at linebacker. I feel like more of them should be on the field at the same time, and you'd have a way more efficient run game or run-stopping game.
All right, final prediction. What do you got for tomorrow?
Bills, baby, all the way. 37-34.
37-34 in a shootout. I like it. Thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you. All right, who's next? Let's get everybody running on. Ryan always steps off the – get on in here, Mark. You always step off the mark here. No, I'm just kidding. I just pushed you out of the shot. Get on in here. What's up, buddy? It's Mr. Boom Boom himself. I don't think you have missed any of the season opening episodes, live episodes, number 1. Come on over here a little bit. I'm kicking Ryan off the stage. You got our brand new Shout Football logoed sweatshirt. You are officially the man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So do you want my season prediction question first, or do you want my regular question first?
Regular question first. Let's do that.
How do you think TJ Sanders, Deion Walker, and Landon Jackson are going to fare against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry when you got a 250-pound freight train coming at you?
So, hot take here. I don't think Landon Jackson is going to be active tomorrow. I think he's probably going to be kept down, and I just think that they're going to rely on their 4 edge rushers. I think Javon Solomon's going to play a big role on special teams, so he'll also be out there and probably in the mix. Maybe they go heavy. Maybe they give him a couple opportunities long. He can get maybe cover up some passing lanes. But in terms of Sanders and Deion Walker, I think this has the potential to be a TJ Sanders kind of game. I think we're going to see him on third downs on the field with Ed Oliver, what they drafted him to be. He was my pick. I did a podcast with my guy Pat Moran over there the other day, and he was my pick for Bills Rookie of the Year this season. And I think it's got to start this game. Like they have no time to waste.
Definitely, because they're going to be thrown right into the lion's den right out of the gate, big time. Now, my prediction for the season, I'm with Ed, 14-3. And the script has been written. This is the year. You got Josh Allen winning the MVP last year at Highmark Stadium, the Bills movie, which we're all part of, and the last game of the season is not going to be January 4th against the Jets. Absolutely not. We win the number 1 seed. Next game is we get the first round bye. We go to the divisional, win. Last game of Highmark ever will be Buffalo and the Kansas City Chiefs. We beat the Chiefs, go to the Super Bowl. That's the last game ever in Highmark Stadium. I'm calling it right now.
Dude, you took us all the way up to the end, and you didn't give us the finish. I was waiting for it. You got to give the Super Bowl pick.
Well, the Bills are going to win it. Just not who they're going to go against in the NFC. Possibly maybe the Eagles. They might make a return visit, but Bills are going to win it. This is the year. This has to be this town is going to go nuts.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Great appearance. Thanks for coming out.
Got the swag.
We appreciate you. Get on up here, Chris.
What's up,
All right,
buddy?
Ryan.
How we doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing great.
You feeling good? You feeling
yeah.
ready to go?
Dude, we're so excited for the season, man. I mean, the Bills in the offseason loaded up on guys. I think someone, kind of speaking to your reference earlier, Lamar gets out of the pocket, we're in trouble for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa, we got him healthy. We got him early in the season. He's going to dominate tomorrow. That guy can't be blocked by one guy. I think he's going to be a real game changer.
I also think Joey is he's one of those guys that's super chill and under the radar, but he knows he's an NFL vet. He hears the noise. Nobody's really respecting this move across the league. I think everybody thinks he's going to get injured. We're not even really placing him in the conversation in terms of basing the expectations about this team long term. But in this game specifically, if he goes out there and has 2 sacks and has a throwback kind of performance. I think that's going to change the math for a lot of people with the Bills.
Of course. I mean, everyone's looking, obviously we loaded up a little bit more on offense. Allen coming in MVP, getting married, the movie, just like, we were talking over here. It's like everything's pointing towards the Bills being successful and people are loving us. But it's like ultimately the offense has to perform, but it's going to come down to the defense, right? The majority of games, we want Josh winning, in the ball in his hands, taking a knee, and that's the way it should be.
All right, final prediction for tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Where are you going to be? Are you going to the game? Or
yeah, we're going.
Okay.
We're going. We're going to be at the tailgate. We'll be there with Game Day Hospitality, doing that over at O'Neill's and Abbott parking lot. But I'm thinking Bills 37-31.
37-31.
Gritty game. It's going to come late. Lamar's receivers, they're going to gas out late. I think we're going to take them down.
All right. Give it up for Chris. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
brother.
buddy.
I appreciate you. All right, get in here. Let's go next. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
How you feeling?
You got to eat the mic.
You got to eat the mic. Last year, you really let me down.
It was a poor performance last year. I'm looking to step it up this year a little bit.
So how are you feeling overall going into this season? I mean, we've had all these months to look at this roster, figure out what this thing's going to look like, and now the game against the Ravens is here. How you feeling?
I'm looking forward to it. Comes down to how can Bobby Babich with Patrick Ricard and Isaiah Likely out, how can we take advantage of that matchup?
I love where your head's at with that, because are they going to run as many probably not as many 3 tight end sets, but they still can run out of 12 personnel, 22 personnel, but I don't know if they're going to be as effective. I'm wondering if Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, decides to pivot and maybe go into a little bit more 3-4, maybe even spread it out with some 5 wide receiver looks to see how the Bills handle that as a little bit of a chess move. Monken comes from a very pass-heavy offensive background, and I think that they've almost been gearing up for this a little bit to kind of play both ways. But to your point, when you have Derrick Henry, you almost don't want to get away from that too much. So I think the chess match between Monken and Babich is definitely something to watch.
Do you think the receivers with Hopkins makes a difference for the Ravens?
I'm completely out on the addition of Hopkins for them in general. I don't like the idea of adding a veteran player that him for doing one certain thing and they're not that same version of the player anymore. You almost treat him like that. And that's why I'm okay with the Jordan Poyer addition to the practice squad. You're not asking him to come back in here and be the Jordan Poyer of 2021. You're asking him to be, hey, in case bleep happens, we need to get you in the game, right? DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to probably be have a role in this game tomorrow, and I think the Bills would prefer they throw it to him as opposed to Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman.
I agree. My prediction, 27-17 Bills.
All right, you nailed
Let's
it,
go.
man. Thank you so much. I'll give you a solid 82% on the eating the mic. We'll do better next year. All right, get in here.
It's all about incremental improvement.
I love that. Sean McDermott would be a big fan of that. All right, who's coming up next? How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good.
All right, how you feeling? Get on up here.
I'm feeling great. Do you mind, instead of a take, could I tell a dad joke in honor of Ryan?
Hang on a second. Before you do it, get out.
Okay. All right.
Get out. No, I'm just kidding. Get back in here and do
preemptive
it.
blackout.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. It's bad. Your son approved of this, by the way. I tried it out on him. So
Where is he? Go ahead.
he's working the tables. Okay. All right. So if you're American in the kitchen and you're African in the living room, what are you in the bathroom?
Wow. Go ahead.
European.
All right. Did you have Bill something? Because I am about to kick you off of this set.
24-10.
All right, 24-10. Great job. Thank you very much. Ryan, come back in here. I'm going to kick myself. You spend a minute here and enjoy that.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. I came in, I gave the thumbs up.
Well, you're
Much
the master.
appreciated.
You're the master.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I know if he had the option, he would have kicked us out of there or turned off our screen. He loves doing it.
Yeah.
Excited about tomorrow's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You going to the game?
No, we're not going to, unfortunately.
Those late night games are tough for sure.
We're going to the Jets game the following week down in New Jersey. So we'll be there for that, but we'll be watching for sure.
And season prediction.
Oh man. 13 wins?
I think that's right in the ballpark. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Oh, you got a visitor.
All right. Everybody's favorite little predictor here. 1 second. I got to have my daughter. She keeps looking at me with those little daughter eyes. I got to bring her in real quick. All right. So Bills versus Ravens tomorrow. Are you excited?
Yes.
Are you going to be sleeping?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So what is the final score going to be? Bills versus Ravens. Go. Bills. How many points? You got to say it loud.
Bills is
Are you freezing? You're just like my internet at home. You're freezing. All right. Who do you think? How many points did they score? 30? 40?
40.
40 points for the Bills. How many points for the Ravens?
19.
19. Beautiful. All right. See you later. Bills win. All right. Get on in here. Come on in. We got. Yeah. Double trouble. What's up, guys? How are you? What's your names?
Good. I'm Jake.
I should have asked everybody their names. Sorry
My
about
name's
that.
Blake.
Blake and Jay.
That's right.
All right. What do you got? What do you think?
Oh, Bills by a million tomorrow.
Bills by. Are you going to the game?
Oh, yeah.
38-24.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, what gives you that confidence in this matchup? Because I'm getting a sense from a lot of Bills fans that there's a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of, how is this one going to go? I think a lot of it comes from the defensive side of the ball. But what if it doesn't go well for the Bills? Why?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. That's who you're most afraid of.
Oh, yeah. Last year, I hope everyone wears a Guardian cap. Just wear it.
Okay, because he's going to be coming downhill.
Oh, yeah. We know what happened last year with, what was it, Bernard?
Yeah.
Got concussed, just him, he got ran over.
Right.
We can't have that.
Okay.
Just wear the Guardian cap. No concussions.
What do you think?
Derrick Henry as well. I think they can control Lamar coming from the outside. We have pretty speedy linemen there. So if he tries to get out to the outside, I think we can kind of keep a wrangle on him. But Derrick Henry just blasting through is going to, late in the game, worn out players. It could be a problem.
He is old.
He's older. He's 31 years old. When is this dude going to chill out?
I mean, we dealt with him for years. We're from Indianapolis, so we drove up here from Indianapolis. So we dealt with the Derrick Henry problem for quite a while there.
Are you a Colts fan?
No, absolutely not. Okay. No, Bills fan. But I mean, we just had to hear about it because all the sports stuff there in Indianapolis is Colts stuff. They don't cover anything else really, ever.
All right, final thoughts.
I have a question for you. How are you feeling about Buffalo Joe?
Love Buffalo Joe. Great story. Great dude. Went to the University of Buffalo. Go Bulls. And the thing with him is he has a chance this season to be a huge piece of their special teams coverage. Like, I thought last year he had a bunch of games where he made an impact. He's not afraid to flat out on the field and lay the boom, which Sean McDermott is a big fan of those kinds of guys. Obviously, Jimmy Charlo had the big preseason, but I think he's going to be active. I think he's Terrell Bernard's main backup. If he's asked to play, I think the Bills believe in him. Against Derrick Henry, that would be a very interesting development if for some reason Joe Andreessen had to get into that game. But it'd be a cool opportunity, and I've loved covering his career going back to UB. It'd be a cool opportunity. We'll see how he does tomorrow.
He's a vicious player.
He is.
And if he gets in there in linebacker, I want to see him just take him out.
All right. Buffalo Joe.
Let's go.
All right.
Go
Thanks
Bills.
for coming on, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you. We got one more. Come on in. Got two more. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good.
What's your name? You gotta put that microphone right up to your face where I can tell you just were eating some chicken wings. What's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Where you from?
New York.
New York. Nice. Buffalo.
No.
No. Different part.
Penfield.
Penfield. I was just in Penfield, which is right across from Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was watching the Bills in training camp. I go there every year for 2 weeks. It's awesome. We love Penfield. We love Pittsburgh. All right, what do you think? Who's your favorite player, by the way? Not named Josh Allen. Not named Josh Allen. Who's your second favorite player?
Reed.
Reed?
Yeah.
Reed Ferguson?
Yeah.
All right, I like it. He's very prominent on social media, has a great beard, and also grills a lot of food, which is good for him.
Yep.
All right, so listen, what do you think about tomorrow? Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. Who
Bills
wins?
win by 1 billion.
1 billion points?
Yep.
Dude, if they do that,
Ravens 0.
if they do that, I'm going to have to bring you back on the show because you have to make the pick every week.
All right.
All right, great stuff, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your time. All right, looks like we got one more. No, he's like, I'm done after last year. All right, that's going to wrap us up here. 1,200 people watching live here on a Saturday night, which I think is more than I thought because everybody is right now outside or out somewhere partying, getting ready for this game tomorrow. Bills versus Ravens. We got to give our final predictions, and that's how we'll close down the show. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to take the other side of this. I made a prediction earlier this week. I'm going to stick with it. Ravens 27, Bills 24. I really think.
No.
I know. Listen, I got to be unbiased.
Oh no, Ryan!
Without you have Christian Benford on one side, he will lock things down. But I don't know about cornerback too. And Todd Monken, very good offensive coordinators, spread the Bills out, test that secondary, and I think you're going to have some favorable matchups.
We got a Ravens fan here. He's wearing Ravens purple, and he's all giddy over there when you made that pick. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win tomorrow." I got bad news though. I think the Bills are going to win at home. I think 26-23 for a couple of reasons. I do think Josh Allen, for as much as he doesn't talk about the quarterback hype, somewhere down deep, he wants to beat Lamar Jackson in that game tomorrow. At home, the last home opener at Highmark Stadium. And you can make an argument in the regular season last year, he didn't play well. And I think he's fully healthy. He's got a fully healthy offensive line. I think he's going to put the team on his back a little bit. And I think we're also downplaying how hard it is to go on the road and play in Buffalo. I think that's going to be a piece of this thing. That place is going to be absolutely electric tomorrow. The first quarter, Lamar Jackson had a couple of turnovers in the first half against the Bills last year. I think that could be the case tomorrow. I also think there's going to be a big turnover in this game. A Dorian Strong, a Cole Bishop, a Dorian Williams. I like one of those three players to come up with a fumble recovery, an interception. The Bills end up winning 26-23.
Yeah, I think we can all agree it's going to be a close game. Unbelievable atmosphere tomorrow night. I cannot wait.
Also, there's a little bit on Shout. Ryan often, when he picks against the Bills, they end up winning. So I think you've done
be
this
a good
for
luck
Bills
charm.
fans. There you go. I think that's it. All right, couple things before we get out of here. Wingnuts, 1402 Millersport Highway, or head over to 4300 Genesee Street. Check them out by the airport. They'll be tailgating tomorrow. Shout is always brought to you by Tops Friendly Markets. Did you know it is the return to the Red Zone right now? If you want to head over to Tops and participate in their Red Zone program, they'll have you covered with everything you need on game day. And if you're going on a vacation in New York State, what should you do?
You should book it with Amtrak, Matt.
You should. Why?
Unlimited space for those legs, internet, relaxation, you name it. Destinations all over. Take Amtrak.
Shout brought to you by Wingnuts, Amtrak, Tops Friendly Markets, Bills, Ravens, less than 20 or exactly 24 hours away. We'll see you tomorrow after the game, everybody. Take care.